The myth of Cupid and Psyche. Once upon a time, through that destiny that overrules the gods, Love himself gave up his immortal heart to a mortal maiden, and this is how it came to pass. There was a certain king who had three beautiful daughters. The two older married princes of great renown, but Psyche, the youngest, was so radiantly fair that no suitor seemed worthy of her. People thronged to see her pass through the city and sang hymns in her praise, while strangers took her for the very goddess of beauty herself. This angered Venus, and she resolved to cast down her earthly rival. One day, therefore, she called hither her son Love, Cupid some name him, and bade him sharpen his weapons. He is an archer more to be dreaded than Apollo, for Apollo's arrows take life, but Love's bring joy or sorrow for a whole life long. Come, Love, said Venus. There is a mortal maid who robs me of my honors in yonder city. Avenge your mother. Won this precious Psyche and let her fall in love with some churlish creature, maimed in the eyes of all men. Cupid made ready his weapons and flew down to earth invisibly. At that moment, Psyche was asleep in her chamber, but he touched her heart with his golden arrow of love, and she opened her eyes so suddenly that he started, forgetting that he was invisible, and wounded himself with his own shaft. Heedless of the hurt, moved only by the loveliness of the maiden, he hastened to pour over her locks the healing joy that he ever kept by him and doing all his work. Back to her dream the princess went, unshadowed by any thought of love. But Cupid, not so light of heart, returned to the heavens, saying not a word of what had passed. Venus waited long, then saying that Psyche's heart had somehow escaped love, she sent a spell upon the maiden. From that time, lovely as she was, not a suitor came to woo, and her parents, who desired to see her a queen at least, made a journey to the oracle and asked counsel. Said the voice, "The Princess Psyche shall never wed a mortal. She shall be given to one who waits for her on yonder mountain. He overcomes gods and men." At this terrible sentence, the poor parents were half distraught, and the people gave themselves up to grief at the fate in store for their beloved princess. Psyche alone bowed to her destiny. "We have angered Venus unwittingly," she said, "and all for the sake of me. Heedless maiden that I am, give me up, therefore, their father and mother. If I atone, it may be that the city will prosper once more." So she besought them until, after many unavailing denials, the parents consented. And when a great company of people they led Psyche up the mountain, and as an offering to the monster of whom the oracle had spoken, and left her there alone. Full of courage, yet in a secret agony of grief, she watched her kindred and her people wind down the mountain fat, too sad to look back until they were lost to sight. Then, indeed, she wept, but a sudden priest drew near, dried her tears, and caressed her hair, seeming to murmur comfort. In truth, it was Zephyr, the kindly west wind, come to befriend her, and as she took heart, feeling some benignant presence, he lifted her in his arms, and carried her on wings as even as seagulls over the crest of the fateful mountain and into a valley below. There he left her, resting on a bank of hospitable grass, and there the princess fell asleep. When she awoke, it was near sunset. She looked about here for some sign of the monster's approach. She wondered, then, if her grievous trial had been but a dream. Nearby, she saw a sheltering forest whose young trees seemed to beckon as one maid beckons to another, and eager for the protection of the dryads, she went thither. The call of running waters drew her farther and farther, till she came out upon an open place, where there was a wide pool. A fountain fluttered gladly in the midst of it, and beyond there stretched a wide fallas wonderful to see. Coaxed by the bright promise of the place, she drew near, and, seeing no one, entered softly. It was all King Lear, that her father's home, and as she thought in wonder and awe, soft ears stirred about here. Little by little the silence grew murmurous like the woods, and one voice, sweeter than the rest, took words. "All that you see is yours, gentle high princess," it said. "Fear nothing, only command us, for we are here to serve you." Surely he whom the oracle had called her husband was no monster, but some beneficent power, invisible like all the rest. When daylight waned, he came, and his voice, the beautiful voice of a god, inspired her to trust her strange destiny and to look and long for his return. Often she begged him to stay with her through the day, that she might see his face, but this he would not grant. "Never doubt me, dear Psyche," said he. "Perhaps you would fare if you saw me, and love is all I asked. There is a necessity that keeps me hidden now, only believe." And on the following morning, swift as a bird, the west wind came over the crest of the high mountain, and down into the enchanted valley, bearing her two sisters. They greeted Psyche with joy and amazement, hardly knowing how they had come hither. But when these fairies saw the sisters, lead them through her palace, and showed them all the treasures that were hers, in vain grew in their hearts and choked their old love. Even while they sat at feast with her, they grew more and more bitter, and hoping to find some little flaw in her good fortune, they asked 1,000 questions. "Where is your husband?" said they, "and why is he not here with you?" "Ah," stammered Psyche, "all the day long he is gone, hunting upon the mountains." "But what does he look like?" they asked, and Psyche could find no answer. When they learned that she had never seen him, they laughed her fate to scorn. "Poor Psyche," they said, "you are walking in a dream. Wake before it's too late. Have you forgotten what the oracle decreed, that you were destined for a dreadful creature, the fear of gods and men? And are you deceived by this show of kindliness? We have come to warn you. The people told us as we came over the mountain that your husband is a dragon who feeds you well for the present, that he may feast the better some day soon. What is it that you trust? Good words. But only take a dagger some night, and when the monster is asleep, go, light a lamp, and look at him. You can put him to death easily, and all his riches will be yours and ours." Psyche heard this wicked plan with horror. Nevertheless, after her sisters were gone, she brooded over what they had said, not saying their evil intent, and she came to find some wisdom in their words. Little by little, suspicion ate like a moth into her lovely mind, and at nightfall, in shame and fear, she hid a lamp and a dagger in her chamber. Towards midnight, when her husband was fast asleep, up she rose, hardly daring to breathe, and coming softly to his side, she uncovered the lamp to see some horror. But there the youngest of the gods lay sleeping, most beautiful, most irresistible of all immortals. His hair shone golden as the sun, his face was radiant as the springtime, and from his shoulders sprang two rainbow wings. He opened his eyes to see at once his bride and the dark suspension in her heart. "O doubting Psyche!" he exclaimed with sudden grief, and then he flew away out of the window. Wild with sorrow, Psyche tried to follow, but she fell to the ground instead. When she recovered her senses, she stared about her. She was alone, and the place was beautiful no longer. Garden and palace had vanished with love.